What's up, everybody? I am back once again. It is 30Case. I am here. We are talking SmackDown. We are talking NXT. I'm going to try to keep them both pretty easy, pretty quick, because I know about a day behind on SmackDown, and NXT was last night. But let's break it down, shall we? I'm sporting a nice new look for y'all. Yeah, this new look is coming at you. Real quick, as always, Instagram, you can follow us on there, Russell Cave. Twitter, you can follow us, Russell_Cave. Facebook, you can follow us, Russell Cave Podcast. And as always, on our YouTube, right here, you can check out all of our reviews. I'm going to keep this a little longer than a minute as I usually do, but we have so much wrestling over the next few days that I don't know how many shows I'm going to be able to do, but I promise you I will at least be doing a Fight for the Fallen review, an Extreme Rules review. I'm going to probably group the G1s together, and Evolve might just get thrown in there with one of them. I'm sorry, it's just probably going to get thrown in there. But that is what we got coming up this weekend. So look out for my reviews, previews, recaps, predictions, all that stuff over the next couple days. It'll be dropping left and right. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. But for SmackDown, we had WWE Smackdown on Tuesday night. Much better than Raw. Much better than Raw. Raw's episode this week was just a bunch of stuff that was all over the place. But SmackDown, we had a storyline, we followed it through, and we saw a lot of character development from a few people. So let's get right into it, shall we? I'm going to start right off the bat and let you know we did find out who Aleister Black's opponent for Extreme Rules will be, and it was none other than the person we did talk about a little bit on Monday. It was Cesaro. Aleister Black was sitting there saying, I guess nobody's going to show up, nobody's going to answer his call. Whoever knocked obviously isn't going to wait for him and show up. But then all of a sudden we split screened to an empty chair. Somebody in a nice suit walking around that chair sat down, and it was Cesaro. And Cesaro said he wants to pick a fight with Aleister Black. And that is exactly what he's going to do this Sunday. I'll tell you, man, this Sunday, if they let a lot of these guys go, we have the potential for a really good pay-per-view. I'm not confident to say it's going to happen based on what I've seen, but you think of Samoa Joe, Kofi, you think Usos Revival, and you think Ricochet, AJ, and now Aleister Black, Cesaro. If you let all those guys go, holy crap, that could be a hell of a pay-per-view. But we'll get into that at another day, another time, another video. The rest of SmackDown. SmackDown kicked off with Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens fighting. Dolph Ziggler was getting interviewed outside in the parking lot, and Kevin Owens drove up in his car and basically just didn't care about the interview, interrupted it. And those two started brawling. This would lead to Shane McMahon kicking Owens out for the night, and that basically ruined our main event that was supposed to be Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. So we're not going to get that. But flash forward a few minutes, and we get Kevin Owens running out into the arena and just grabbing a microphone and just dropping a bombshell of Shane McMahon, basically saying he's sick and tired of sitting here. He watched the McMahons come out and say things were going to change, and yet we see Shane McMahon week after week on TV, and who wanted that? Nobody wanted any of that. And it's basically everything he's saying is things that us as fans really had been thinking. We can't voice it on TV, but Kevin Owens is basically being the voice of the fans right now. He said there's some, Shane came out, cut off his mic, but he picked up another mic and cut that one off. Then he picked up the headset, and he was saying people like the Apollo Crews, Cesaro, No Way Jose, and the list went on about people that he thought should get more time than Shane McMahon. So it was really good to see Kevin Owens kind of going face now. I know a lot of people are used to him being a heel, but I think he can be a good tweener character, as we saw back in the day with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I mentioned Stone Cold Steve Austin because later on you'll see what I'm talking about. So we end up getting Dolph Ziggler taking on Roman Reigns later on in the night in our main event. But the next matchup was actually pretty damn good. We had Finn Balor taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. A couple weeks ago we did get a tease that this would happen between the two of them. We got it, and I gotta say, Finn and Nak are back. They told a good story. Non-title match here, which is okay. Always good to have those, because why should Nakamura get a title match right away. He hasn't done anything, he hasn't been on TV, neither has Finn. So they kind of got to reestablish both of these characters. And they reestablished Nakamura as a killer in this match. He really took it to Finn. He was trying to get countouts left and right. He kept taking Finn outside and Kinshasaing him outside, throwing him into things. Finn 2 or 3 times rolled back in the ring right before 10 until finally, after one time he rolled back in the ring, he got hit with that Kinshasa, and that was lights out. And Shinsuke Nakamura picked up the clean victory in a very calculated win for him, really going after Finn in this one and trying to prove that he's no one to mess with now that he's back. So we got that. That was a good match. Kind of down the road, we'll see where that one goes. Probably going to end up being a title match for the for the Intercontinental Championship, which, I mean, again, those two going at it, you let them go, it'll be a really good one. Next, we had a contract signing between Nikki Cross and Bayley. If you remember on Raw, Nikki Cross and Bayley were in a Beat the Clock challenge to figure out what the stipulation for Alexa and Bayley's match was going to be. Apparently, there's something going on with Alexa outside the ring, health-wise, some minor injury, so they ended up making this after Nikki won the handicap, or won the Beat the Clock challenge. She made this a handicap match, so it will now be Nikki and Alexa taking on Bayley. Be interesting to see if Nikki wins. Does she get the belt? They're going to be co-champions, that's what they say. But they keep alluding to this thing where Bayley has no friend. She doesn't have a true friend like Alexa is for Nikki. So this is kind of setting up, maybe, like I talked about, a return for Sasha Banks, because Sasha Banks, the boss of Hug Connection, they are best friends. That is her true friend, Bayley's true friend. So will it happen? We will see. But now is probably the best time, if there's any time, for Sasha to come back, if she is in fact going to come back. There's been talks that she will, that she's had discussions, but I will believe it when I see it, when she actually shows up. But now is the perfect time. That's all I'm going to say. Next, this contract signing would lead to a match right after this between Nikki and Carmella. Good little match. Nikki ended up winning with her fisherman facebuster type thing, neckbreaker, I'm sorry. So she beat Carmella in a pretty good match, pretty quick match. Then we had the Tag Team Summit where the New Day came out doing their thing. Saying how they are ready to get those tag team titles back. Woods and Big E dropped a little risque comments in there about tag teaming and stuff like that. But go check that out. That was pretty funny. Then you had Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan come out. Then you had Heavy Machinery all coming out. This would end up leading to a match between Otis, Xavier Woods, and Daniel Bryan. Really solid match. I got to show all three of their personalities. Woods and Bryan, for a good amount of this match, were trying to work over Otis, trying to suplex him. Didn't work a few times. But in the end, you would have Otis getting the win by really just crushing Xavier Woods and getting the 1, 2, 3. And finally, we would have our main event of the evening. Oh, by the way, we will get that tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at Extreme Rules. The New Day taking on Heavy Machinery, and then taking on the champions Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. So that we will get into in another video when we get to Extreme Rules as well. And finally, we had in the main event for the evening, Roman Reigns taking on Dolph Ziggler. Finally, we get to see Roman on SmackDown. I just talked about it on Monday, so someone must have heard me when I say Roman's hardly ever on SmackDown. He's a SmackDown superstar. But he was back this week, taking on Dolph Ziggler, exactly what you would expect. Roman Reigns would go over. But before he would go over and take the victory over Dolph Ziggler with a spear, during this match, Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre, and Elias were all outside, all at ringside. So Kevin Owens would come out at one point and give the old stunner, yes, the Stone Cold Stunner, to Shane McMahon. That would cause a distraction, and Roman Reigns would eventually, in the end, spear our boy Dolph Ziggler for the 1, the 2, and the 3. So that would end your SmackDown show, but a couple of things to take out of this show. It's what I like, when we can take things away from the show in a positive and move forward with storylines. We have, now it seems Kevin Owens might be going at Shane McMahon after this Sunday, after Shane maybe wraps up with Roman and The Undertaker, who knows. But either way, it looks like we are getting a face or at least tweener type character with Kevin Owens, a la Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is why I brought that up, because he even did the stunner, which at the end to a McMahon, which is pretty much Attitude Era 90s wrestling as it gets. So we have the new Stone Cold-ish type character with the McMahon. Who knows? We might get that down the road. But we can take that away. We can take Cesaro is the one who knocked on Aleister's door. He will be facing him in Extreme Rules, so Aleister Black right here. I think he's probably going to make Cesaro fade to black, but I really hope that they let these two guys showcase what they can do, because we all know what Cesaro can do, and Aleister Black with his strikes can be so hard-hitting that you kind of have to let these guys go and put on a good match, because otherwise it's just going to be very underwhelming if you let them do their WWE type style of match. And that's just my opinion. And finally, the other thing to take out of this was Shinsuke is back, Finn is back, and they're both hopefully going in a positive direction towards something new. I like to see the resurgence of a more established, more dominant, more aggressive Shinsuke Nakamura, so that was good to see. We'll see where that goes if they continue to do that in weeks to come. But that'll be it for SmackDown for this week. Now let's move over to our boys on the yellow and gold, or the black and gold, the black and gold brand of NXT. What can you say, man? Another solid episode of NXT. Week after week after week after week, we get NXT solid shows. I like that they've been dragging out the NXT Breakout tournament over weeks, not putting two into every week, letting us really know these guys and letting them each get like a 10-15 minute match rather than something that needs to be rushed. We saw last 2 weeks, we saw Cameron Grimes and Isaiah Swerve Scott. And I forget the other match we also had. But this matchup tonight, in this NXT matchup in the Breakout tournament, we got Boa taking on Jordan Miles. Another solid one. We'll get to that. But to start off NXT, we had a new look, a new music, a new fire lit under Io Shirai after she turned her back on Candice LeRae after she lost to Shayna Baszler in that steel cage match. If you remember, 2 weeks ago, she did, after losing to Shayna fell out of the cage after being hit with the door, and then Candice tried to console Io, and Io just snapped and just took out Candice, and now she comes out in all black, different music, really looking like she means business, and it looks like a whole new Io Shirai. She came out and she said, I don't need anyone, I don't need any friends, and I don't need any of you, talking to the NXT universe, the people that have been behind her for so long. I really like this Io Shirai, kind of harkening back to her look when she was on Lucha Underground as part of the Black Lotus Triad, where she took on, if you have a chance to go back and watch, Kairi Sane, it was Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and I apologize, I don't remember the other girl that was part of the Black Lotus Triad, but they did have a gauntlet match against Pentagon Jr., if you can go find that. I think it was season 2 or 3 of Lucha Underground, I want to say 2. But go check out that match, because you'll see how good these girls are and how much of a beating they can take. And I want to see more of that, Io Shirai. And I think we're going to get that going forward, because she looks like she means business. Next was the NXT Breakout tournament, the NXT Breakout Star tournament, where we had formerly known as ACH, now Jordan Miles, taking on Boa. I didn't know too much about Boa going into this, but after watching this match, I really do like him. I think he's going to do pretty well. He seems to have some sort of personality, MMA type training, background, a lot of striking. But they also said that he owns his own CrossFit gym, so he's very athletic and can move around that ring. But as can Jordan Miles, formerly ACH. Jordan Miles I've seen in Ring of Honor and New Japan and all over. And this guy has all the tools to be a star. He's got that smile, which you saw. He's got the charisma. And he proved that he can fly around that ring with anybody, but he can also make them tap out. Really awesome to see Jordan ACH get to have a kind of a fresh start. Because he was kind of hanging around New Japan, hanging around Ring of Honor, not really doing a whole lot. But the guy has charisma and ability that's unmatched. And to be able to see him in NXT now kind of showcased to a bigger audience in the United States is really something that I'm really looking forward to, and I think he's going to run with this opportunity. You already saw last night, he did pick up the victory in this one, but go back and watch that match, because it was really good and really showcased what both of these guys are able to bring. Really, all of these matches that they've had so far in this tournament have really showcased what these guys are going to bring in, because they have 8 new guys and they have still a whole roster full of talent. Next week you'll see Dexter Lumis and Bronson Reed taking on each other, so that's a battle of some really big dudes. Next up we had another guy who got his name changed, Damian Priest, formerly known as Punishment Martinez, so another guy who got his name changed. But he was able to pick up the victory over a jobber, and this one his name was not Gringo Loco, it was Blanco Loco. Gringo Loco is in MLW, who was phenomenal. You should check him out. So kind of another name similar, I guess that's where they got it from. But in this matchup, Damian Priest really had no problem taking down Blanco Loco at all. Exactly what you would expect, what I expected before the bell even rang, as soon as I saw Damian Priest going out there against that guy. Another good showing from him. Interested to see where he goes from here and what kind of matchups they're going to put him against. I was at an NXT Philly show where Punishment took on Keith Lee, and if they do that at an NXT TakeOver, they could probably bring the house down, because they did at the NXT show that I was at. So that's what I'm hoping for. Put him against Riddle, some of those bigger guys that can move, and I think you're going to be able to build a star out of Punishment Martinez. He's got a good look to him, good vibe. He just needs to bring something else out, because he can definitely entertain some people, that's for sure. Next up, and finally, we had an NXT Tag Team Championship match. We had the Street Profits, the champions, taking on Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Really happy that they put this match on. I'm really happy that they put this match on in the main event, because I feel like with War Raiders, War Machine, with all the tag teams that have come in and out lately, Undisputed Era, for instance, and then before that they had just a laundry list of guys. These 2 tag teams have been there. Oni and Burch, pretty much since they've been together, have been putting on phenomenal matches. Street Profits has taken a little bit more time for them to get to where they are now, which is fine. But they are hitting their stride. You just saw they recently debuted on Monday Night Raw. So they're up there with the Tag Team Championships. I've seen them multiple times in Evolve put on really good matches, and you've seen their development over the last couple of years, and now they deserve this spotlight that they're getting. The Street Profits are really good. Montez Ford is really good. Hawkins is really coming around for me. So I like what they're doing. Or Dawkins, I'm sorry, Angelo Dawkins. So I like what they're doing. I'm glad that these 2 got to put on a phenomenal match too. If you guys aren't really big fans of either of these teams, this is the match to watch, and might change your mind, because it was a barn burner from front to back. As you know, Oni and Burch are kind of hard-hitting type of guys, whereas the Street Profits, on the other hand, tend to be more funny, and they use a lot of high risk but also tandem offense. So it was a really good matchup between the 2, but in the end, the Street Profits would get the victory and retain their tag team championships. But after the match, Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish would come down and stand on top of the entranceway and just give a little bit of a clap, as if to say, hey, good job, but those titles you got, they're ours and they're coming home. So probably going to get a Street Profits versus Undisputed Era matchup up down the line. But again, another solid NXT. We got to see a lot. Io Shirai, now dark as, like real dark, as opposed to her happy, cheery self. Jordan Miles with the debut and the win. And you had the Street Profits in a great, great tag team defense. So again, really good stuff all around from another solid NXT. Even SmackDown, better than Raw. Raw was as we talked about. But overall this week on WWE TV, pretty good. Pretty good. Not great. Not great. They still got a lot of work to do. Especially, Sunday we'll see if they're really committed or not. Because there's, like I said, so many good matchups. Usos Revival, the other tag team matchup with Heavy Machinery, Daniel Bryan, Eric Rowan, and the New Day. I already said AJ, Ricochet, Samoa Joe, and Kofi. Like, these matches, if they let these guys go, this could be a really good pay-per-view, one that people actually talk about. Cesaro, Aleister Black, as I said. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that goes, how it plays out on Sunday. We will get into it later in the week. Today is Thursday. One more little piece of information before I get out of here. We had another matchup added to Fight for the Fallen this Saturday. We are going to get Bea Priestley making her debut for AEW, taking on Dr. Britt Baker. So that's another matchup that has been added to Fight for the Fallen. Already stacked card. Shima, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks taking on Cody and Dustin Rhodes. We have Adam Hangman Page taking on Kip Sabian. We have Ali taking on Brandy Rhodes. We have SCU taking on the Lucha Brothers. Am I missing anything? I think that's it. I think I got everything. If I missed anything, I know you guys will let me know. I know there's a lot of matches coming up this Saturday. So, as I said before, as we wrap this thing up, Saturday, we have Evolve 10th anniversary. We have the G1 Night 2. We have AEW Fight for the Fallen. So those are 3 shows on a Saturday. And then on Sunday, we got Extreme Rules. So those are 4 shows in 2 days. I promise you this. I will at least put out 2 videos. I'm hoping to get... I will definitely get Fight for the Fallen. I'll definitely get Extreme Rules. And then I'm probably going to do the G1 in night 2, 3, 4 maybe. I'm going to combine them a little bit because I can't do 30 videos in a day. But Evolve might, like I said, might get thrown in there with Extreme Rules review, or it might get thrown in there with the Fight for the Fallen review. A couple other things that I've been seeing is just a resurgence of people actually getting excited again, which is good. I know people have been talking about the Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman stuff. We kind of have seen a little bit of a shift in them actually trying some stuff out, whether good, bad, and different. They're trying new things. So they do have to have, they've had to have realized that there is some sort of competition, whether they want to admit it or not, as Roman Reigns has said so clearly that they're not competition, but they're adjusting their product. We have seen it. We are clearly seeing it. And I, as a wrestling fan, not an AEW fan, not a WWE fan, not whatever fan, as a wrestling fan, I'm really, really enjoying all of this stuff. Because come October, when AEW hits TNT, that's when you're really going to see the competition. Because it's there, whether they want to or not. Also, guys, if you haven't seen, go check out my review for Impact Slammiversary, because that was a hell of a show this past weekend, Sunday. So go check that out. You had an intergender main event between Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard, which brought the house down. You had a really good Monsters Ball match between 4 women who killed it. Thumbtacks, staple guns, everything. You name it, they had it in that match. So I highly recommend going and checking out that pay-per-view and checking out my review of it, if you like. And then also check out G1 Night 1, which was phenomenal as well, and my review of that if you would like. As always, go below here. You can join our Facebook group. Join our group, dude. It's really fun. Saturday, let me tell you something, actually. Stop, hold up, wait a minute. Saturday, if you are going to Extreme Rules, meet us out in the parking lot. The Wrestle Cave and Markout Club will be having a tailgate for Extreme Rules. Just come find us. I know Meredith and some of the other ladies of the Markout Club and Wrestle Cave are going to be running this, so they're really trying to get as many people out as you can. So if you are at Extreme Rules, come find us. There's a big, giant group of us. We usually, I don't know where we're setting up, but we usually set up around on the Broad Street side there in the parking lot right before Wells Fargo, or in the Wells Fargo lot, but on the Broad Street side. So if you want to come have some fun, meet all the people from Wrestle Cave, meet all the people from Markout Club, and just have a good time with like-minded wrestling fans, talk wrestling, come out to Extreme Rules Sunday, come tailgate, have some fun, and enjoy a pay-per-view. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Go below here, Twitter, right here, Wrestle_Cave, Instagram, right here, Wrestle Cave, and on our Facebook page, Wrestle Cave Podcast. Go to our YouTube, which you clearly are on right now because you wouldn't be watching me otherwise. Go to our YouTube, hit subscribe, hit the notify bell so you know when I'm going live. You can hit subscribe. If you don't hit that little bell, you won't know when I'm going live. What else? Yeah, like all of our videos. Go watch, one last thing. Go watch Ace's interview on on our YouTube or on any of our podcast platforms. He did a great interview with JB Toys, who is a Guinness Book of World Records collector. So definitely go check that out because he is a Guinness Book. He's in there. He's a world record collector. He shares stories from Kenny Omega, from Villain Enterprises. He made, if you watch Ring of Honor, the 6-man tag team championships that Villain Enterprises have with their likeness on it. He made those for them, and he shares many other stories that he has throughout this great interview with Ace. So go check that out. Follow him on all social media. Follow us on all social media. If you have any questions for me, go over to the group. Post them there. Tweet them at me. I will probably be back Saturday. I probably won't be here tomorrow. I got some stuff to do, but I'll probably be back Saturday with another video. Probably previewing all the matchups that we're going to have this weekend. So I'll give you a little taste of that. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to sign off, but I'm going to remind you all, wrestling. Love all wrestling. Love it all. Support it all. Don't just support one company. If you do like just one company, that's fine. Support them, but don't talk crap on other companies because there's different styles of wrestling, just like there's different styles and flavors of ice cream. There's different flavors of wrestling. So I just hope that you guys all enjoy what you enjoy. Keep enjoying, keep supporting it. Hopefully you'll keep supporting us. Keep liking what we're doing. And just go check out all the content we have. Go join the group. I'm going to get out of here because I feel like at this point I'm just a rambling man. So see you guys. Have a good one.